Hi everybody, this is Lee, and a website that I really like to read is Dissident Voice. I come here for the articles like I do at Socialist World and Socialist Alternative and Counterpunch and Black Agenda Report and Common Dreams and Truth Out, and things like that. And so I'm at Dissident Voice, and there's an article here I'm going to go through, but I'll try to explain that Dissident Voice is a radical newsletter in the struggle for peace and social justice. That's what they cover here. With this article, Jonathan Cook is doing a review of a certain documentary. The documentary is called Shadow World, and it's an account, he says, about 90 minutes long, of how the military-industrial complex, the arms industry, has actually captured the governments of the United States and the United Kingdom, and that the military industrial complex is driving world instability, and that wars are no longer being fought to be won or to save, humanity, that they are actually being fought to be drawn out indefinitely, creating a market for arms. And so it's a profiteering effort. It's not to save lives, save humanity, to stop human rights abuse, to free anyone. That these wars are actually being fought for profiteering, to enrich a tiny global elite. And so we are no longer the greatest generation. I mean, you can't call us the greatest generation because the wars we are fighting are for recreation, for profiteering, and to drive a market, to create tensions between nations who actually do not want to fight each other, specifically North and South Korea. But if they can be made to, um, do missile tests against each other, and to uh, aggravate and create distrust, well, then they might be in the market for arms in order to impress each other. And that makes money. And so this is a type of profiteering, unregulated capitalism, which I've discussed before, that leads to death. And this is one example. This libertarian, the money wants to do whatever the money wants to do, so do it. It leads to death. There are many examples. This is only one. It's a worst case scenario, but we see unregulated capitalism also leading to poisoning of municipal water systems. We've seen unregulated capitalism leading to a prison industrial complex that warehouses innocent people who cannot pay to be bonded out. And so this is what unregulated capitalism is. It's death, coming in many forms and from many directions. The military-industrial complex is much more forthright, but even our healthcare system, where people feel like there's just too much regulation, and we see that people are dying, and that this is what the love of money above all else leads to, a type of psychopathy, unrestrained, where people don't care what happens to others as long as they get richer. They don't care. They don't care if you receive cancer. They don't care if 20 years of your life are taken away from you for a crime that you did not commit. They don't care if you can't afford to treat a treatable illness, because as long as they're making money, they do not care. And so this is the type of documentary that this is. It just goes through and it actually names names. Often we see, well, the system is broken, mistakes were made, things like this that let people off the hook. But the system isn't just there, it's actually run by people. that even in the situation of Hurricane Katrina, people were saying, well, some things had happened, and then there had been some deaths. But we see that there are names that from George W. Bush on down, including Kathleen Blanco, the governor, who said, "Shoot them to kill them." And then she lost her position as governor for her role in that. So here they name like Tony Blair, they name Dick Cheney, Jonathan Cook does in this article, Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan. He's identifying that that's where the war as big business seemed to have gotten its start. And that I find interesting. I find it very interesting that he doesn't name either of the Clintons in this article. But I haven't watched the documentary. I'm going to post a link to it. There's a trailer in the article itself, embedded in the article, and you can look at it yourself and see if you want to watch the full movie. But I do think that Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton should be right in there with them in terms of profiteering on destruction and death, international destruction and death. And so I say good luck. Hopefully you'll learn a lot, and I think you will. And see what solutions hopefully are offered. Good luck.